me out. And if you don't know the exhibit we're talking about, it's a bodies exhibit. And this guy invented some new process of preserving human tissue. And he does it somehow or another in plastic, and they have a whole video on it. I think it's called, I don't know.
Body Worlds.
But I'm trying to think of the process, plasta something. Anyway, so it's really like a bunch of bodies all cut up and like in weird positions doing weird things. And, you know, it gives you a sense of the anatomy, but it also gives you a sense, like, how is this any different than something a fucking serial killer would do?
Right.
You know,
Dexter.
could you imagine? Yeah, could you imagine if this was all started by a guy who's just some sick fuck, and the way he pawned it off on people is like, you know, it's just checking out the anatomy? Because there's some of them that are so questionable, dude. One of them, they had a chick cut in half at the vagina. Okay?
Yeah.
At the vagina, and there's like segments of her. She's like cut in half.
Yeah.
At her fucking pussy.
Right.
Like, really?
Yeah.
I really need to see that? You sure? Are you sure about that? You sure you want to put that fucking image
It's
up
pretty
there?
fucking demented.
It's weird, man. They're like playing tennis and shit, and, you know, it's just their muscle tissue with no skin on and fake eyeballs. It's a trip.
Did we go together to see that?
I think we did.
And we saw that IMAX movie, the body
Yes,
thing?
yes,
Okay. I remember
yes.
being so stoned while seeing that, I almost had a panic attack. I had to leave.
We were so high. We had lollipops, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we had lollipops.
Yeah.
This was back in the days, the rookie days of edibles, where we didn't quite understand what was going on.
It's like, 2 lollipops would be fine.
We didn't know. The people who don't know, when you eat pot, man, you get way different. It's a way different high. It's something called 11-hydroxymetabolites produced by your liver. We've talked about it before, but that's why people freak out when they eat brownies and shit. Like, you swore off edibles.
I don't eat them on Mondays because the Armenians give me a free edible day on Monday. So I always eat the 3 peanut butter cookies and get fucked up. But last
You
night
called me once. I'll never forget this. You go like this, dog. That's it. That's it, dog. I go, what? No more fucking edibles. No more fucking edibles, Joe Rogan. No more edibles. Like, that's the whole conversation.
Damn.
I'm done.
Oh, that bad.
Don't you wish phones had TiVo? So you could just record this.
Oh, the recording would be awesome, but would be more awesome is the visual. You know, to get some FaceTime on that.
FaceTime. It's always doing
God.
FaceTime.
Sometimes you eat those edibles, and I'd eat them like at 8 in the morning, guys. Like, I get up and pop a cup of coffee and eat a fucking chocolate cake. By 9:30, I gotta go to the Y.
Fear Factor was all edibles, because that would last the longest. And this is also when I didn't understand. I just knew that I'd build up a tolerance if I had a lollipop every day. I was getting blitzkrieged. I mean, like, so baked. I was like freaking out about the colors of the sky and, you know, thinking how strange this life is, and we're all pretending it's permanent, but it's really temporary. While I was like forced to do this, you know, not forced, but, you know, while my job was to do this Fear Factor show. High as fuck.
It fucks with you, those edibles. They fuck with you, those edibles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they do.
They really do.
It's way stronger. People don't know. It's 4 times more psychoactive than THC when you eat it.
Yeah.
That 11-hydroxymetabolite. It doesn't feel like pot. It doesn't feel like you're high. It feels like some totally different kind of a psychedelic trip.
Yeah.
You know? Very introspective. You know, really makes you fucking consider your life. You know, when you're alone and you ate a brownie, you start going deep into your childhood and shit.
Fuck yeah.
Don't you? Thinking about, like, weird your relationship with your parents and fucking all sorts of weird shit that made you become who you are. You start, like, really fucking going deep.
The last time I did edibles was at a UFC, and it was with you. And it got to the point where there was a good match going on, and everyone was murmuring, you know, at once, like an arena.
You could hear everything.
It started,
man.
that murmur started,
Holy
like,
shit.
it started to get in me, and I started feeling my heart
Oh
was
my
like.
God.
When Clay Guida fought Diego Sanchez, I could feel the smacks.
Yeah.
Like, there was one flurry in the first round where they were both just for like a minute. They must have connected on 20 punches apiece. I felt all 20 punches. I remember that I woke up like this, like, just holding on to myself, like, I can't even block these fucking punches that Diego's throwing at me. And all of a sudden I realized I had Brian Redband next to me. And people like Jake Shields is over here. I'm like, what's happening? But I caught myself fucking blocking Diego's body kicks and shit, like twisted and everything. That's when you know, fuck 3D glasses, motherfucker. I was in that fucking ring. When they broke, that was a very intense first minute.
Very intense.
If you remember how, that's what, on think about edibles. It swept you. It just swept me. And I remember, like, turning and fucking fading and, you know, making believe he was jabbing.
Okay, like, here's the question. Do you think it's real? Do you think that the connection that you have when you get super high, like especially with edibles, that weird feeling that you have where you feel like you can tell if people are lying, you can tell if people are upset with you and they're not talking about it, that you can tell if they have issues?
Do I think that's real?
Yeah.
I think it's 100% real.
I think it's 100%.
It's real, right?
Totally real.
There's a different level of perception that comes.
It's like you have a new sense that you usually don't have.
Right, but when you get sober, you all of a sudden start thinking it's ridiculous. When you sober up,
Because you're not feeling the same sense anymore.
exactly, but
Right.
it doesn't. I mean, it's never more ridiculous. There's no more ridiculous story than you telling someone that you have an enlightened perspective because you got intoxicated. People will always make fun of that. Like, oh yeah, you're high on mushrooms and you figured out the world. Sure you did. You know, because when you're sober, it seems so preposterous. But when you're really, really, really high, you can see some shit.
And you figure out some shit, too.
Yeah.
Every time you get high and you get in your car, even if it's just go to Starbucks, you always figure out one component of your day.
Yeah.
Like one decision is made, and it's made, and you stick to it.
It's the
And
same,
that's that weed.
It's
Every
the same
fucking
reason
day.
why people think it makes you paranoid. It's making you think about shit.
Yeah.
It's making you consider shit that you don't ordinarily consider. And let me tell you something. Weed in the isolation tank, my God. Joey Diaz, that fucking thing has changed my whole brain. It's rewired my brain. Like, I have, like, all the hardware from my old brain. It's still, like, laying around, but it's not even connected anymore. That fucking isolation tank from just smoking weed, I'm trying to figure out how to live my life as if, like, I just entered into this world, like, 10 years ago. I entered into a body that's already existed and already had a history and already had a bunch of things that it's already done and dealt with. And so, what have I done? I've done all this? Jesus Christ, what was I thinking when I did that? You know what I mean? It's like you become a totally different human being managing, like, a new life. That's what, like, the tank does to you. The tank is the fucking freakiest thing ever. I wish more of you guys would be into it. You know, nobody does it. I don't know why you guys wouldn't do it. I always talk about it. It is the craziest fucking experience that I ever do.
It's like doing a crime and going home and locking your door and smoking a joint for 8 hours sitting there thinking the cops are going to break in. That's a horrible feeling. You get to see fucking life for what it is when you're sitting in that corner listening by the stairs to see if they're coming. It's a fucked up experience, you think.
Well, you clean your brain out of all that shit that
man.
you've done that's making you worry about people coming to get you. All that shit, all the shady shit. You know, it makes you clean your brain out. How come you've never done the tank? How come you never go in?
I don't fit.
They fit. You fit. There's a giant one they have. The guy in Venice can make any size one.
Where's the tank?
It's a huge door, Joey. It's not like you have to
Well,
crawl
there's,
through a little hole.
there's
So
two
there's a little
places.
fucking bathroom
No, there's
type
two
thing.
places. One is Soothing Solutions in Burbank. You could go there. That's near you.
Really?
It's real close.
You've
Yeah.
been there?
And it's a very nice lady.
No.
Let's do a Death Squad trip and tape it over there.
Yeah.
See what happens. Tape
Oh,
it.
let's
Come
do
out
it.
of there.
Let's do
You
it.
should do it. She's a nice lady.
She's very nice. Yeah, let's do it. I'll do it with you guys.
Let's
We'll
do
go
it. Let's
there.
tape it and let's
Okay.
see what happens.
Make a
on-
video
That's a
out of it.
there we go.
Yeah,
There
How
we
I
go.
feel when I
Perfect.
come out of there.
I'm taking you guys all. Eddie too, and Ari too.
Let's see how I feel.
Ari's
when
gonna
you come
fuck
out.
it up. Don't start screaming.
He's
Start faking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't. If we just all said, let's all, have an experience,
that's a
film
great
it, and
Death
tell me what you
Squad
think.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we could
it's-
advertise that lady's business too.
Yeah. And the guy in Venice too. Let's advertise him too, because his place is the shit.
Yeah.
Is it really? In
Yeah,
Venice?
Float Lab's the shit. That guy, he's on another level. See, everybody else is making these tanks like my old tank, the one I gave away, which is excellent. I mean, it's way better than nothing. It's good. It works good. But his are like super thick. It's steel and insulated, and his like maintain temperature much better, and it's much bigger, so you have more oxygen inside of it. And he actually adds an oxygen pumper, an oxygen scrubber, so it scrubs oxygen, pure oxygen out of the air and pumps it into you. He's just got it down. He's nuts.
Yeah.
The guy at the
He's a
floatlab.com.
fanatic.
He's a crazy dude, but the cool kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a mad scientist. And he's got this new thing. Did I tell you about the new thing? The video cameras? This motherfucker, if you don't know about the isolation tank, what the isolation tank is, it's a tank that was invented by a guy named John Lilly. John Lilly was this crazy psychedelic pioneer from the 60s. He used to take ketamine and fucking lay in the tank for days. Like, he was nuts. He used to take acid, and this is how he figured out how to make the tank. He wanted to figure out a way where he was completely separate from his senses. So his brain doesn't have to listen to his body at all. And he started out with, he would be in a tank where he would be upright and the head, you would float by the head. So basically you'd be hanging from your chin, which is probably not that comfortable, but you get used to it. And then the rest of you feels like you're weightless. But then he figured out all you have to do is just put a ton of salt in the water, and that'll make you buoyant. And then you can lie on your back, and then like half of your body's exposed. So that's the new models. They all have like, mine has 800 pounds of salt in 11 inches of water, and you lie in it, and the water is 93.5 degrees, which is the same temperature as your skin. And so as you lie in it, you don't feel the water anymore, and you just dissolve. You have no body sensation at all. And it's just pure mind. It's just the mind with no connection to any input. So the mind doesn't have any distractions. Your mind gets to look at your whole life completely objectively, not thinking about your back or your fucking feet smell or, you're touching the couch or you're hearing, the sounds and seeing lights. It's just pure mind. And in that state, that's like one of the rarest states on earth. It's pretty simple to achieve, but if you think about it, there's no place like that on earth where you can be separate from your body. Like literally, you don't feel your body. It's just your mind, and you get distracted. We all get distracted. Like it's like having a conversation in front of a giant crowd of people, like when you're on stage, that's distracting. Talking to people while people are next to you screaming, that's distracting. But what we don't realize is life is distracting. And sometimes you got too much, like why do people who have fucked up lives like to have a bunch of shit going on, How many dudes that complicate their lives on purpose because they got some shit going on, so they'll just I'm starting up a business. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're starting up a business, man. You're a fucking comic. You're gonna start up a business? Why is he really starting up a business? He's trying to distract himself with more shit so he doesn't have to think about his shit. It's a classic psychological ploy. Your whole life is a distraction. You don't even realize it. Everything you do is constant input coming in. You gotta navigate your way through this world. It takes away resources. It takes away resources that your brain has. Gotta get in there, Joey Diaz.
Let's go. Burbank next week after the fucking break.
How come you don't do it? You're in Burbank. How come you never done it?
Because I don't know.
That's the thing. It's one of those things.
Now, have you ever been in a tub ever before?
Do you think you avoid that kind of like heavy lifting when it comes to like the mind?
No. To me, I have my own kind of relaxing things that I do, and it seems like I don't know. I guess it's not a necessity, so I don't really need to. Blow money on something that I'm.
Dude, I'll buy you a gift certificate.
If it was free, I would do it every day.
All right, well let's get you on it then. We're gonna do that. That's gonna be our next video. We're gonna do the isolation tank. I'm gonna convert all you guys because I think it's ridiculous that I've been using this thing for 7 years and you guys don't use it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's better than the tanning bed.
And if you guys, it's way better to jerk off in. If you guys if you Google where to float, just that term, there will be a website that will pop up from samadhi.com, which are very awesome people that made my first tank, and their website has a listing of places where you can rent time in a tank all over the world, all different countries, all the different places it's available. And a lot of people have used it and emailed me about it and said that they found a tank, like an hour away from their house or something like that. It's a fucking great tool. It's a great tool for the mind. If you're the type of person that likes to meditate, and I think everyone should. Everyone, you call it meditate. You say meditate, you sound like you're full of shit and you're doing yoga with beads on. You know what I mean? It's like the word meditate has this connotation, this fake spirituality connected to it. It's a term, right? But thinking about your life is very important.
Especially in Boulder, they use meditate like a motherfucker. Them sandal words.
There's so many sandal wearing motherfuckers in Boulder,
aren't they?
I tell you what, though, they're nice. I don't mind.
Brilliant.
But I would talk to people, and I'd be like, they would say, I've got this back injury, I can't go to jiu-jitsu. I go, oh, that's cool, man. You okay? You gonna be all right? He goes, yeah, I'm going to this healer. He's doing a lot of body work on me, a lot of positive energy work. I'm like, oh, you pay for that, or do you suck his dick? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like totally straight face. I'm going to a healer. He's working on me, doing a lot of body work. He's doing body work. Oh, he's healing you.
With rocks and sand.
There's a lot of people that make a living doing that, man. They're
Yes,
like
they
healers. They like push on parts of your head and claim that they're healing you. But the thing is, if you believe them, it works.
It works.
That's the crazy thing. Is like the human body is so fucking powerful, but we don't know how to use it. It's like a computer, and we don't even have a manual. We're just going into the registry and fucking with things, and we really don't know how it works. So you can trick somebody with a placebo, and the placebo is just sugar. It's just bullshit. It doesn't do anything. But because they think it's medicine, their body fixes itself. But nobody knows how to just fix themselves. It's crazy. It's like, how come you can't, the placebo method, how come you can't just apply that on your own? Why can't you just trick yourself? You can't. So then you don't have access to that pure belief. You don't have access to the pure belief. You have to be kind of crazy to have access to the pure belief that you can fix yourself with this magic pill that's just sugar. It's a fucking mess. Why can't we use it? We got like it's like a hidden part of the operating system. Yeah. You know, you have to press like 4 keys at the same time to get to it. You know, it's fucked up, man.